Eagle fans are upset, but why? Why are Eagle fans now jumping off ship after a playoff win? The Eagles have advanced from the wild card round to the divisional round next week. And there's a lot to discuss of this game. And obviously I'm going to keep it real but be realistic at the same time with what really happened in this game. You're not going to have a perfect game from a team. If one thing is not working, another thing has to provide. And I think that's what happened in this game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we need to talk about it. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Hope everyone is doing really well. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so go check them out if you have not. The Eagles win against the Green Bay Packers 22-10. Okay, the defense held up against the 8th highest scoring offense in the league at 20. I think averaging 27.1 points per game, which is kind of crazy. But obviously, the fans have a lot of concerns right now. By the way, the offense didn't look great for all 4 quarters, and I thought the defense holding the Green Bay to 10 points was even more great. 4 takeaways for this defense. The bad news coming out of this game as of right now, just to make it short, sweet, and simple, Nakobe Dean looks like he did injure his knee, and it doesn't look good. There's no MRI yet, but there's already some rumblings behind the scenes that he said his season is done. So we're going to see what they do between Oren Burks, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., or maybe they go after one guy that we will talk about in videos this week of what the Eagles should do here. Now, this was pretty much the body bag game because the Packers really couldn't stay healthy in this game. They were really falling apart. I mean, they lost their Pro Bowl right guard. They lost their center later on. That's a really good player. That was drafted in 21, really good player for them. They lost, on top of, losing Jair Alexander, they lost Quay Walker later on in the game. They did lose 2 other receivers in Dobbs, Jalen Reed. Wicks was like the only guy that they really had left. They were running out of receivers at that point. Josh Jacobs got hurt in the 4th quarter. He was stumbling a little bit. So the Packers, health-wise, it just got progressively worse this entire game, okay? Now, to really start everything off, obviously Jalen Hurts was 13 for 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, 61.9% completion percentage. And obviously those are pretty good stats. Those are the stats average that you are willing to see with Jalen Hurts, because I don't want Jalen Hurts to throw over 21 times in this game. And if it happens, great. If he had over 200 yards passing, great. But I thought the game started out pretty well. Oren Burks on kickoff. We kick the ball off to the Packers. Packers receive it. Oren Burks decleats this Green Bay Packer off the ground, fumbles the football. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. with the fumble recovery, which I was kind of questioning if it was a fumble recovery or if Jeremiah Trotter Jr. fully had the ball. So I was kind of surprised we even got that, but that's some great momentum. That's the way to start the game, which is awesome, and the Eagles get the ball in the second half, which is great. It was a couple runs from Saquon Barkley, and then the Eagles scored with Jahan Dotson for his first touchdown. I was really proud of Jahan Dotson, I gotta say, man. Just, it was just a breath of fresh air to see them throw to somebody else. And with protection, it was like 6.7 seconds in the pocket. Jalen Hurts just sitting there. The offensive line was great today. I thought they did a really good job. And we'll talk about what happened later on, but I thought, just Jahan Dotson scoring that first touchdown was fantastic. And, I'm glad that they weren't forcing it to Devontae Smith. They weren't forcing it to A.J. Brown at times, but we'll talk about that stuff in a little bit. And then really going through the second quarter where the Eagles really did nothing. Offense was, really bad. Play calling was atrocious. The quarterback wasn't good. The protection started to wear down because the Eagles were dropping back so much and they were staying in the pocket for these long developing plays. That reminds me of so much of what the Eagles were doing pre-bye week. You had Darius Slay. Okay, you had 4 takeaways in this game. Okay, obviously the fumble, and you had 3 picks in this game. Slay had a pick in the second quarter over Jaden Reed, which was friggin' awesome, man. Slay was stride for stride with him, got the pick. The Eagles got no points over that, okay? The third quarter happened, and that's where Dallas Goedert had that stiff arm, that stiff arm touchdown going downfield. This was, the defensive line for the Packers were really bunched at the line, and Jalen Hurts audibled from a run to a pass, passed it to Dallas Goedert, barely catching it off balance, and then going upfield, and I think the cornerback was named Valentine, stiffed armed him like 4 times going up the sideline and scoring that touchdown. So I thought that was really good. But leading to that play, I think the third quarter, that was really their best drive. They had 2 rushes from Barkley and 2 short passes to Devontae Smith. So I thought they did pretty good there. And you scored a 30-yard field goal in the third quarter as well. So you got some points up on the board. And then the fourth quarter, you got the 32-yard field goal and the Quinyon Mitchell pick. Obviously, you had a Zach Bond pick in this game as well. Look, the defense really held up, man. Get the 8th highest scoring offense in the league at home. And, Jordan Love, he looked flustered. We were taking away Josh Jacobs in that first half, I thought, pretty well. The second half, he started to get a little bit of a groove. But the defense was on the field so much, man, between the first half to the third quarter. They were on the field a lot at times, especially that first half. A.J. Brown only had 1 catch for 10 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 catches for 55. You didn't really get much out of your receivers, and you got a couple good catches and a touchdown out of Dallas Goedert, and Calcaterra only had 1 catch for 4 yards. So the offense was stagnant a little bit. It wasn't really moving. They weren't really doing anything. So Eagle fans are just getting on the case now, I don't get why, this is a one and done moment, bro. When it comes to the regular season, we nitpick at a lot of things. And when I get into the playoffs, I nitpick at things the same as I do in the regular season. But at the end of the day, this is a one and done moment. If the Eagles lose this game, they go home. But let me tell you something, okay? I tried to believe that there was going to be not as much rust in this game, and there was a lot of rust in this game from this quarterback. There's no doubt about it. 3.5 weeks, and you're telling me a few days of practice at the link and a game like controlled environment, he's going to be fine. I figured there was going to be some type of rust. Okay, even if he doesn't throw more than 21 times, which he did in this game, that's his average. The Eagles want him to be as average as he possibly can in these games with all the weapons around him, a 2,000-yard back, and Saquon had 25 for 119. I didn't even know he had over 100 yards because it really didn't seem like it. I don't think the coaching staff really, 3.5 weeks he's out, and the coaching staff is putting him in these situations. The Eagles never ran one slant. They never ran anything middle of the field. They never passed middle of the field. They never did any of that. They never worked the middle of the field. While the Green Bay Packers were throwing slants, they were working the middle of the field. They were doing all this stuff to us wide open. Okay, the Eagles did none of that. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are running up on the sidelines, and Hurts is holding the ball for 4 or 5 seconds. And the more times he drops back, the Packers defense was just getting through and getting through and getting through. But the one thing I think everybody has to really respect, okay, is that Jalen Hurts did not turn the ball over 1 time. Okay, Justin Herbert just threw the ball over, just turned the ball over 4 times in their playoff game, and he's ranked a higher, better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is smart. He protected himself as much as he possibly could. There were some things I really didn't like, and hence why the coaching staff should have started the short passing game, and obviously running Saquon Barkley where it made sense. That second to third quarter, man, it was ugly. The second quarter was really ugly. Sometimes you're passing 3 times. Sometimes you had run. Why are you having run designs with Jalen Hurts? Why is there run designs with Hurts after coming back from a concussion and putting his body in harm? And I understand it's a playoff game, but dude, this guy doesn't need to be going through multiple Green Bay Packers and trying to make big plays all on his own. Use what he has around him. I think that was one of the biggest problems of this game. I don't think the play choice, play design, and it just made no sense to me. This looked like a Nick Sirianni offense. They were doing, yet again, they threw a Saquon Barkley screen with Devontae Smith blocking. When does that work? They ran a tight end screen that was okay. They ran like this little flea flicker play that they tried to do. Like, they got cute again with the play calling. Like, you guys have so much talent. You are dominant enough to do whatever you possibly could do. Okay. I know everyone's going to call A.J. Brown a diva at this point. He had an open book on the sideline, which he's read that book actually during a game. And he read a book, just sitting there like he was acting like some diva or something like that. It seems like all the media wants to do is attack him every time he acts some sort of way on the sideline. Okay, 10 yards. Yeah, I mean, not a fantastic day. Really, A.J. Brown was a decoy the entire game. Devontae Smith, they started passing to Devontae Smith in the fourth quarter before the Dallas Goedert touchdown. A couple of those short passes, which was pretty good. They weren't slants, but they were at least kind of short. And, it was giving, Devontae Smith some wiggle room to have some yak yards. And, with a couple runs from Saquon Barkley mixed in, I thought they did pretty good on that drive. So realistically, guys, like, it's hard to win, man, but like, we can't be nitpicking so much. And I'm not like, I'm saying this because as a content creator, I nitpick at everything that happens in a game, but I understand what the Eagles did in this game. The coaching staff, I don't think, did right by the situation of Jalen Hurts in this offense. I mean, I don't know why they are waiting 10 hours, and why are these long developing plays taking forever, and Hurts is sitting there and dropping him back, and it's just, you're putting him in such a bad situation coming off of not playing for 3.5 weeks. It's just stupidity. It really is, man. Really is. So I think fans need to chill out and relax, because you know what? I don't get it. Like, after the 22 Super Bowl, everybody has had this high point that Hurts has to be the exact same way. Every year is different, okay? Every year is different. No quarter is going to be perfect. No series is going to be different. And was the offense lackluster? Sure, but it's not like every phase of the game was a big failure, man. The defense really came out on top. You know what? And I think the Eagles will look better next week in the divisional round. They have no choice but to. I don't think they're reverting back into anything. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, like, Hurts didn't play well. But realistically, his stats show that he was pretty average, as he usually is, that he's working with what's around him. And that's, but unfortunately, they got cute with some plays. I mean, it was a second and 12, and they passed the ball. Okay, got to run the football. They weren't running the football enough. Gainwell was coming in at the wrong moments yet again, and he did okay. He had a couple first downs. He ran hard a few times, whatever. Didn't get a lot of opportunities in this game. But then the 3rd and 12 comes, then Barkley runs for like 10 yards. And then it's like, now you got to punt the ball now. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's the down and distance plays where you should run or where you should pass just made no sense, in my opinion. So like I said, I think offensively they struggled, but you got to think of it like Hurts missed 3.5 weeks. The starters missed the entire last week. Didn't play against the Giants. So they were already rusty going into this game, okay? And I don't think the coaching staff did right, to be honest with you, on some of the specific plays that are needed to get your quarterback in a specific rhythm, to kind of help him out a little bit. And I don't think they did him any justice, to be honest with you. I don't blame Hurts because he had a concussion. Like, it was, he had to go through protocol. Like, he had to do it. It's not his fault. Sometimes you can't stay away from concussions. You can't stay away from injuries. These things just happen in game, okay? And that's all I really got to say about it. A lot of Eagle fans are jumping off the wagon, and like, this is a playoff game, man. You have to just accept what the game is. If the Eagles lost this game, forget about it. Forget about it, man. But they won this game. This is it. Like, you don't win. I think people need to be satisfied because you don't win this game. You can't wait till next week. This is you got to wait till next year at this point. Like that's the type of games that we're in right now. So when we win, yeah, I don't think there's going to be I don't think when the Eagles won in 17, I think both defenses were that bad in that 17 Super Bowl, but we didn't nitpick at that. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing is ever going like everyone expects all three phases to be on all four cylinders. Sometimes it is not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but everyone's, slamming Jalen Hurts. And yeah, he missed some wide open guys. Like I said, like it was, but I think based off of the play calling too, man, they didn't put him in any situation to get him warmed up, to get some rhythm, to really do anything. Okay. So I think people are making a really big deal about it. And trust me, I'm usually negative a lot about things. And this is like one of the positive things because I think they will fix all these things. And they went through their first game, Hurts wasn't with the guys. I mean, you know what I mean? You're talking about like a few days of practice for a playoff game. You're not talking about like, Hurts didn't miss a week. He missed 3.5 weeks. It's almost a month of football almost. You know what I mean? So, so there was missed opportunities, obviously, coming off some picks. So I thought the defense really held up well. Nolan Smith, man, Jesus. I mean, 8 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 QB hits, and 2 TFLs. Nolan Smith saved a couple of those drives, man. He had some good pressure. I thought he did a fantastic job. I thought Jalen Carter did good. I thought Milton Williams did a really good job. Josh Sweat was a little quiet, got there a couple times. Bryce Huff did nothing. I don't think he even had a tackle on his stat sheet as of right now. The linebacker situation right now is going to be interesting for next week. We'll talk about that later, but obviously Oren Burks came in as an inside linebacker, missing some tackles. The Eagles were missing tackles defensively. I mean, a couple of these plays, man. I forgot who had the ball, ran upfield. It was like 4 missed tackles. I think it was the Brian Robinson touchdown. I forgot what touchdown it was. It was like 4 missed tackles, something like that. So, the Eagles look like what they looked like pre-bye week. That's what they look like. But like I said, dude, like you have a week and a half off pretty much. Count practice for the playoffs and count the week that you took off. I mean, it was pretty much you were off for a week and a half. Your starting defense, your starting offense, and your quarterback was out 3.5 weeks. So it's just kind of crazy. Quinyon Mitchell had the pick at the end, which was awesome. So he finally got a pick. Very happy for him. I thought Quinyon Mitchell did good in coverage. I thought it was really good. He gave up like one play. There was a PI call on him, which the Packers receiver was totally flopping it. I mean, he was totally in an act on that one, which was absolutely ridiculous. And Zach Bond comes away with another pick, which was great. And, you know what I mean? And I'm already saying, sign this guy ASAP. Jake Elliott missed an extra point in this game. He got me a little nervous. That extra point, I was hoping it wasn't going to come back to haunt us. And that's where I kind of was with the whole entire situation with, that missed opportunity right there. The Eagles, when Jake is kicking, he's got to make every type of point we can make. There were some stupid plays, man. I mean, there was a lot of them. I've already discussed a few of them, but even when they did the tush push, they were doing that. And like they faked the tush push. He dropped back and tried to throw it to AJ. Like you're talking like a 3rd and 1. I mean, a 3rd and 1 play. And you're like, yeah, they still got it. They got it on 4th and 1. But it's like, do they necessarily have to do this? Like the flea flicker, just the weird plays that like, why are they trying to, it's not like they have less talent and they have to fake out this defense. And I think that defense did I thought the Packers did a good job here and there. But when you make things so obvious, especially when you're dropping back so much on a few really bad sequences, okay, where you're passing so much, it's like, dude, like you have to run where it makes sense here. I'm not going to nitpick at anything else, but the Eagles win. The Eagles advance in the wild card. The Eagles will now advance into the divisional round and have a big game, come next week. Okay. And, this was a good win for them. I think people need to calm down a little bit and really look at the bigger picture here. It is not hard to win it is not easy to win a playoff game. The defense rose to the top. We've had these games where the offense has struggled. The defensive rose to the top, and you're hoping next week there'll be more of a balance. Okay. This offense definitely needs to step it up. And obviously, if they get to the Super Bowl, this offense needs to step it up. They can't afford to play like that. The coaching staff needs to be better. And obviously, Jalen Hurts now throughout one game is now going to another week and should look more sharper. Unfortunately, you missed him for 3.5 weeks. The coaching staff didn't do right by him. And, the Eagles come out with a win against a pretty good, Green Bay team that has was dealing with injuries going into this game, got more injuries going into this game. I don't think Jordan Love played well, but I don't see anybody ripping on him. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? So some guys end up injured. We'll see what happens. But overall, I thought they were fine. I thought they fought well. Jalen Hurts did as much as he possibly could his first game back, which obviously you would wish he would play in another game before he gets to a playoff game off a concussion protocol. But this is what we had to deal with in this game, going forward. So the defense rose to the top. The offense scored points, and you scored 22 points. You held the Green Bay to 10 points. They scored in the fourth quarter, I think. When was the first touchdown? The fourth quarter, the end of the third, the fourth, something like that. I mean, you held them to a touchdown and a field goal. That's it. That's all you did. Okay. That's how much talent is on this football team, and I'm happy. I'm not going to rage. I don't disagree. Look, I get the situation, but like I said, they have got to do right. They have got to do better by this QB in a situation like this, because that was literally horrendous. I felt like I was watching, Nick's playbook from pre-bye week. That's what I felt like I was watching. Okay, we've dealt with Hurts missing wide open guys. We've dealt with that. We've dealt with him sitting in the pocket. And yes, like, these routes are taking so long to develop. The play is so long developing. It's just sickening to watch. And then when Hurts has to scramble outside the pocket, we're getting penalties. I mean, they didn't look pretty with some of the penalties that they had either, because when Hurts scrambles, it ruins the protection, and then guys end up holding. The run design for Hurts, that has to stop, man. It has to happen naturally in games. Sometimes you just can't set it up like that. I feel like I'm literally watching how the season started before the bye week. And they really have to fix that. So other than that, I don't think it's anything to really panic over, but the Eagles have to be prepared. The Eagles will have another home game next week, which is fantastic. So Eagles got to be in their groove next week, do their thing, and, that's where we'll be. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this game? How do you feel about the offense? Do you think it's Hurts' fault? Do you think it's Nick Sirianni's fault getting him prepared? And, obviously with the amount of time, they didn't really have that much time, just on the whole entire situation. I'm happy with this win. I'm perfectly fine. I'm ready to go. It is hard enough to win in this league, and nobody can be bitching about winning a playoff game. Okay, no playoff games are perfect. If scores are close, okay, or further, it just depends what it is on the situation. A lot of these teams make mistakes in the playoffs and come back, and, in the next quarter, the next sequence, the next play will be better for it. And unfortunately, you know what? It's what it is. The Eagles struggled offensively. The defense rose to the top. And, I thought they did enough to win. And that is it. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy. They did what they had to do. And that's where we're kind of at right now. That's where I'm at right now. And there's not really a better way to even put all this in this game. So that's where I am. You guys have a fantastic day. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video, because it helps out tremendously. And if you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely go check it out. We are running a promotion right now. If you buy 2 items, you get free shipping. So upon checkout, the free shipping will be calculated in. You could buy a t-shirt, a hoodie, 2 hoodies, any 2 items. It doesn't matter what it is. Definitely go check out all of the merch, all different colors. Link in the description and in the pinned comment as well. So I thank everybody for doing that. You guys have a fantastic day. On to the divisional round. And I will see you guys later. Shakes, what up, fall slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.